Welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brook Edel, joined here with Coach Chauncey and Jim Bushy. I know Jim is mobile. He's just taking care of things. He's just like the dependable person that we know. And appreciate you, Jim, for hosting for the NFL Draft. Big kudos to you. Just making sure that weekend was a success. So much fun to being out there in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the NFL Draft. We have so much to talk about the NFL Draft. 3 days of football. It is literally the state fair of the NFL, and I got to experience it for the first time live. So did Jim. Jim, you can also share some stories, and then Coach, you can also share your reactions to the draft. So we'll start with that. I'm here joined by Coach Chauncey Williams-Bearfield of the Hopkins football head coach, and also part of the CWB real estate team.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me again, and it's always a pleasure, and looking forward to having some fun talking ball today.
Awesome. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, pick number one, Cam Ward. Let's talk about him. He's the least talked about number one overall pick that I can remember ever covering an NFL draft. Out of the University of Miami, Cam Ward, what is your prospects for Cam Ward in Tennessee?
I think he was accurately drafted. He was by far the number one pick, quarterback-wise, this pick in general in the draft. So I think he was drafted where he should have been drafted as the number one overall pick. I think going into a situation in Tennessee where there's going to be some lumps along the way, his mobility is going to be a big part of them being able to make something out of nothing to start out for the first couple of years. But I think his career is going to be bright. He has all the tools. He just needs the support and general manager to put the right talent around him so he can flourish.
Absolutely. He's going to get a second-year head coach, so that's going to help. Like, he's going to have some stability carrying over. Now that Will Levis, they're sunsetting that project. I guess Mayo was not the secret formula to be a great quarterback.
Exactly.
Who would have thunk?
Right.
But parting shots there on Will Levis, but like Cam Ward, I'm excited to see him. He's a playmaker. Jim, I want to get your thoughts on Cam Ward going number one overall out of the University of Miami.
I mean, he deserved it. He worked his way to the position. He was always number one on a lot of people's draft boards, so he deserved to go. And I understand not a lot of people are talking about him because, other stuff, but he deserves it. He played his heart out, and he deserves to go number one.
Absolutely. And number two, another generational talent, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter gets nabbed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe it might be selling tickets, but whatever it is, they made the right pick getting a two-way player. They're getting both a wide receiver and a cornerback that just won the Heisman. So that lets you know he is ready to play football, and he's a purist. That's what he does. He does play football. He doesn't party. He goes out and fish. He's a good kid, good Christian kid. Love that pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Normally, we're not talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars doing the right things, but drafting Travis Hunter is one of the best things that they've done in their franchise history, I would say. And it's going to be interesting to watch, like, how do you split his snap counts? And then also, he's going to be dealing with both the offense and defense side of the ball. You being a head coach, how would you approach this with the Jaguars?
Well, first off, I think it was a win-win-win. So for their franchise to get a superstar talent, that's what you do. Even if you don't per se need a player, if he's the most talented available pick, you pick the player. So I think they got that right. He was there, they made a move to move up one slot, grabbed him, smart move. Number two, as a prospect, as a receiver and corner, they've got two players in one. Now, in the NFL, I don't think he'll be able to play full time on both sides. From what it sounds like, he's going to major in the wide receiver position and then kind of minor in defensive back, which I think is a smart plan because in the NFL, if you can't score, you got no chance. Okay, defensively, one corner is not going to transform your defense. Okay, but if you have a superstar receiver, that's going to help your team a lot more right away, maybe to put some points on the board. So I think that's a smart move. In terms of how I would approach it through the spring and summer, I would just kind of see how it goes. Give them full board and go on both sides of the ball. Hey, let's see what happens. wherever he's more developed as of right now, spend more time there, continue to work on the other side of the ball that maybe he's not quite there yet, but in certain situation in packages, absolutely get him out there. And maybe a situation where he could be like a nickel corner, play wide receiver, start there and be a, go-to receiver, but nickel corner come in on third down or something, match up man-to-man with the number 3 receiver on most teams. So
Absolutely.
him not being a full-time corner, matching up against one of the lesser receivers was a bit more even matchup, and this was his athleticism and this know-how. He can make big plays there.
Absolutely.
As we've seen in college.
His ball skills.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's just a big play waiting to happen. So I think this is a great pick. It's a win-win, great prospect. He's going to be in the league a long time. The only knock I have against him is that he's a little slight.
Okay.
He's put some weight on,
Like
but
190, 185.
yeah, 185
Max.
or so.
Yeah.
But Devontae Smith, Devontae Smith for the Eagles is 175 pounds
Another
soaking wet.
Heisman winner.
Yeah, big time player. So he made it work, and we've seen other small receivers make it work. But just as a coach and making sure he has the longevity, and especially with going those extra snaps, we put some muscle on him, I think he'll be better off.
Absolutely. Get his full NFL body ready.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What was he, 21, 22?
21, 22.
Yeah, so he got time to grow into his full grown man body. But
Yeah.
just in terms of trying to keep him healthy with those extra snaps, putting on
Right.
some muscle
Absolutely.
would help a lot.
Absolutely. Being able to monitor that stamina throughout a 60-minute NFL ball game.
Yeah, you got 18 games, okay, and playoffs if they make
And
playoffs.
playoffs.
So it's a lot more football than what he used to in college. They're playing more football for a longer period of time. They're going to play in cold weather situations. I know he's in Jacksonville for home games, but
Sure.
when they travel and go on the road later in the season,
Games faster.
absolutely.
Right,
So
right.
just in terms of what his body's used to, especially with those extra snaps, it's going to be still a big adjustment for him. And the more protein he gets in his body and more pounds he puts on, it's going to help him sustain that toll on his body.
Absolutely. Buckle the F up with the Travis Hunter experience.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
I would say.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. All right, that moves us to Jim. What's your thoughts on Travis Hunter before we get to pick 3 here?
That was a great pickup by Jacksonville. I think they really needed not only help in the receiving end, but they also need help on the back end too. I kind of have to agree with Coach here. Superstar wide receiver can help change the offense, but I think a lot help on the defense too. I mean, all know the saying: defense wins championships. I mean, yeah, one corner isn't going to do it, but one receiver isn't going to do it either. So hopefully he can help out both sides of the ball. And if I was a coach, I would have, I would split this through the summer, see how he develops, like Coach said. But I would try to, I think they need a little bit more help on the defensive end where he can help, but definitely learn both the offense and defense because you never know when he can get thrown into any situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Okay, so we're kind of rifling through these picks. Brings us to pick number 3, Abdul Carter, Penn State. Number 11, the last person that wore number 11 out of Penn State, Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in the same division. They're going to be playing against each other. That's going to be a fun rivalry to watch them kind of go against each other. The one thing that I would say about Abdul Carter, he was touted as maybe the number 1 overall pick. They were saying maybe he was the best, like measurables and all that. He wowed a lot of people on the game film. The one thing I want to talk about Abdul Carter, we're talking about numbers. He wanted to wear number 56 for the New York Giants. That's the first thing that he wanted to do as an infant. He literally just got out of the womb. Baby, just brand new baby New York Giants, Doctor hasn't even spanked him yet. The Roger Goodell hasn't even shook his hand, but that's the first thought in his mind is, I want to wear 56 and be a great linebacker for the New York Giants. Lawrence Taylor, spoiler alert, declined, the invitation to wear number 56, which I see it from both sides, but I get it from Lawrence Taylor's perspective. Is like, hey, like I wore 56 and it meant nothing, but I made it mean something. Right. You're not taking that from me. And the Cowboys are a little different. They got 88.
Yep.
You got Drew Pearson. You got Michael Irvin, Des Bryant, now CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the playmaker.
Yep.
88. 56 though. Like, in any way, could you see 56 being potentially like acceptable on a New York Giant player? Maybe after a couple years, you could see him maybe switching to 56. I mean, if he's just balling out.
I say no, and the reason why is that Lawrence Taylor is like a mythical figure in football. Like, not to get too deep into the weeds, but he literally revolutionized the way we play football. You know, that stand-up outside linebacker, the 3-4, the rush end, all these things that we do now. Abdul Carter. You know, he's in that mold, but Lawrence Taylor started that. And the ability to rush the passer from a stand-up position was something that really wasn't done back then.
Right.
So
it was a
this
foreign concept.
and with the amount of proficiency, you know,
MVP,
to where the left tackle came about. The importance of a left tackle came about because of Lawrence Taylor.
Sure.
Okay. Ask Joe Theismann.
Right.
Ask Joe Theismann.
Ask Joe Theismann, yes.
How he feels about Lawrence Taylor and the importance of making sure that blind side is protected. The movie came, all these things. So, long story short, no. Lawrence Taylor is literally, and a lot of people's top players of all time, he's number one in a lot of people's top
overall
list. Yes.
NFL player.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you ask a lot of football purists who's the greatest player to ever play in the NFL, they say Lawrence Taylor. A lot of them do. Because of all that he brought to the table, how he changed the game, what he was able to do during his era, and then also the mythical figure of him not really even preparing, all the partying he was doing and everything
all
else.
Those extracurriculars.
And then just walk on the field and it's be an absolute nightmare. So long story shorter, no, I don't like it. I'm glad he said no.
Yep, you're glad that he said
because he's at that level.
Right.
It's kind of like number 80 in San Francisco.
Right.
Like, you're not wearing Jerry Rice's number. I don't care who you are. It's just not going to happen. You know, Michael Irvin, one of the best receivers of all time, you know, somewhere between, I would say, in my humble estimation, between 10 and 20 of best receivers ever.
Sure. He's in the
it's
top
different.
20.
It's different than saying this is arguably the number one linebacker ever and player ever.
Gotcha.
Wearing that number? No.
No. Okay. For the franchise, you're just like, no.
It's too great.
That number is too grand.
That player.
That player
is just at that level.
Right. Okay.
And then you would obviously wear his number. No.
Just like
that'd be like
they wouldn't wear.
They'd be like the new quarterback
or 8
in the Patriots.
Yeah.
Saying they wouldn't wear number 12.
Oh, that. You know who came right in after Tom Brady? That didn't work out too well. Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was number 10. He didn't ask for number 12, but like everything that they were comparing him to was, can you do it like Tom? How does this equate to play like Tom?
Yeah.
Because like it was almost like an impossible situation to win. Because like unless you go win 4 straight out of the gate, people are calling you a bust.
Right.
Instantly. And now what? Mac Jones signed with Jaguars. I'm not trying to make this like, oh, don't go for the number. But I can see it from the player's perspective of just like, I want to pay homage to the player.
1,000% agree with that. I love it. That means he's seeing himself as a franchise cornerstone player. I'm going to change the trajectory of the franchise. He's coming from the right place.
For sure.
But no. Like I said, that'd be like going to New England wearing number 12. That'd be like going to San Francisco wearing number 80. There's just certain players that are just so high up on that list that you're not going to wear that number.
You're not going to wear that number.
That player is in a room separated from the rest of even great players.
Right.
You know, great players are here. They're up here.
Right.
Like there's some players that are that high up, you know, in the heavens of football lore that no.
Which I'll give you a pause here. I see this sometimes with the Vikings. I see guys wearing 84, and I'm like,
I hate it.
I hate it too. It's like Randy Moss.
With a burning passion, I hate it.
Like, what is going on? Like, I get it. Cordell Patterson wore it.
Nope. Who is he?
Irv
Smith wore it.
Irv Smith wore it. Yeah, Irv Smith Jr. Yeah, he wore it for a couple of seasons.
What are we doing?
Yeah, like I don't know.
That number should be retired as soon as he officially retired.
Should have been retired.
And he's in the hall.
He's in the hall.
So worst case, after he went into the hall,
the man's a cancer survivor on
done.
top of all this.
Yeah, that number should have been done as soon as he retired, like officially retired. I know he had some other stops, Tennessee, San Francisco, whatever. But when he was officially like, all right, I'm done.
He's a Viking. That's what he went in.
100%.
Yeah.
So Hall of Fame for sure. That should have been a wrap. Nobody else is ever wearing number 84. He should already have his name in the Ring of Honor. It should be retired number, everything. What are we waiting for?
Exactly. He's in the Ring of Honor, but they need to retire that jersey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that should have been at the same time.
At the same time.
Oh, we're putting you in the ring. Number is retired. The whole thing. It's a wrap.
Right. It's a wrap. Absolutely. Because I was there when they put him in the Ring of Honor.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was dope. Like, season opener against the Saints, super cool. You got emotional, but like, yeah, Vikings ownership, they need to take that extra step. Like you said, retire.
He's one of them.
He's one of them.
So
he's part of your franchise's history. Right.
Viking fans or not, when you see 84 in purple, who is that wearing that number? What is going on? Even a casual fan, like, ain't that Randy Moss's number?
Yeah,
why is that number not retired?
Yeah.
Like, who's wearing that?
Who's that? What? Allison? Who's that?
So no,
Yeah.
I'm not down with that. But Abdul Carter, just to talk about him for 2 seconds.
Reel it back to Abdul Carter. Yep.
Amazing talent. He's probably going to be Micah Parsons. Just, he's a slider built defensive end, outside linebacker. Sure. He's going to be rushing the passer for the next 10, 12 years at a high level. He's probably going to be, he has all the measurables to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's a rock star pick. Amazing pick, especially in that conference with all those quarterbacks in that conference.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
Jaden Daniels. I mean, say what you want to say about Dak.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
He's still putting up 4,500 yards.
That quarterback.
Yeah, you got to rush that passer. So, and like we talked about on the previous pick about Travis Hunter. Yeah,
Travis Hunter. Yeah.
The best way to build anything, offense or defense, is from the front back. So you're getting a star defensive end to go along with Dexter Lawrence and the other dudes you got up front. I think it's a great pick.
Right.
Great pick.
Right. It was a great pick.
They arguably may have, based on what they had with Thibodeau and Lawrence and everybody else up front already before they added Abdul Carter.
Right.
They got to have a top 3 D line now.
Don't they have Sexy Dexy?
Yeah.
Lawrence. Yeah.
So right now you plug him in with those other dudes.
Yeah, that's
they may have a top
line.
3 D line right now, and the best way to build. We've seen it with the old school Giants. They ran those Super Bowls behind the proficiency of their pass rush.
Of the pass rush, yeah.
They had Justin Tuck and Osi Umenyiora and Michael Strahan for the first one.
Right, Michael Strahan for the first one, right.
Yeah, they weren't that great behind it, but they had such a good pass
rush.
rush.
They had Linval Joseph that they added in the second.
Okay,
so
D-line. If you got a great D-line, that changes the whole game for you defensively.
Absolutely. So with all that being said, Jim, we got to get your take on Abdul Carter.
Yeah, my bad. We took off.
We did take off. No, but it was good. It was good stuff. Yeah.
I mean, going to be one of the best players for Buffalo. My goodness, for the Giants. He's going to be helpful in their line. Dude, you can't. If a number is sentiment with someone, don't ask for it. Like, you have a chance to, improve it, but you also have a chance to ruin it. And for my goodness, for him to say no to the jersey number is honestly fine by me. It doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me anything. It makes sense. Like, why would you want your number, the one that you made the legacy, possibly ruined? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So, it's going to be hard. I can't see him saying yes to give him the number, and I'm glad he didn't.
Absolutely. And I'm sure the Giants GM is probably just happy that they didn't trade away the pick. They just got a rock star pick where they can feel comfortable because they had a hell of an offseason, especially coming off Saquon Barkley winning the Super Bowl after letting him walk and sign with the Philadelphia Eagles. The New York Giants have been licking their wounds until the draft. So, like, that has been a tough offseason for the New York Giants fans. I feel bad for you because I've been part of that situation where Kevin Garnett left my Timberwolves, won a championship immediately. So it's like I've been there. It's not the end of the world. Hang tight. The NFC East, everybody wins. Like it's almost like the NFC East. There's no repeat winner of that division. Like every year, it's like a brand new cycle. And now you got the Commanders coming in. Big news with the Commanders. They're moving back to DC. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, that's in the works. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. That definitely needs to happen. That needs to happen.
Being right there in the city again.
Yep, right back in the city. Right back in Chocolate City.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But, yeah, let's get back to the fourth pick. I know we were talking about New England Patriots. Who's going to be blocking for him? It's going to be Will Campbell. So that's a solid pick at 4. And Will Campbell, he's very outspoken. He's talked about how, as an offensive lineman, you can't give up sacks. Otherwise, you're going to be selling car insurance. But that's real. Like, you're going to be right next to Jake from State Farm selling car insurance if you're not able to protect the main player, the quarterback. So Will Campbell is going to be protecting Drake May. I think that is a great pick. That's a rock star pick for Mike Vrabel taking over and kind of almost in a way re-identifying the Patriot way. Before with Drake May, it was kind of like, well, we'll see what we got. Now it's like, hey, we have a plan, and we're going to make sure this player succeeds. Now they got Stephon Diggs, and potentially there was some talk there that maybe the Eagles wanted to trade up for Abdul Carter, that maybe the Patriots were going to be in talks for A.J. Brown. So I think Mike Vrabel eventually will try to get A.J. Brown back because, like, that's the player that he drafted. So, like, I think the Patriots are going to be a dark horse team. So watch out for the Patriots. So pick number 5. Jog my memory. Who took who's the 5th pick?
I can't recall.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Maybe, Jim, you could help out, but I'm going to Google it right now.
Let me see if I can do it.
NFL draft.
Who did we go through? Picks by picks.
Number 5 was Mason Graham,
Cleveland.
defensive tackle for Cleveland.
Yep, Mason Graham, Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay. Again, defensive tackle. They got Myles Garrett, so they team him up with Mason Graham. I like the pick. I mean, they still need a quarterback. I mean, in the first round, you're just like, all right, Cleveland, you still need a quarterback. First one's off the board, and you were thinking maybe Shedeur Sanders could land here. All right, Mason Graham, good pass rusher. They gave him a 93 grade. I don't see anything bad with the pick.
Yeah, I like both picks for the Patriots and for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the AFC. There's a lot of big-time running games out there. Top quarterbacks, almost all the top quarterbacks are in the AFC. So being able to slow down the run, being able to slow down passing games, offensive line for the Patriots. You got a young quarterback. You can never go wrong there. It's an old-school Patriots pick. Build it from the trenches back, like I've been saying. Vrabel, defensive coach, just run the ball, play great defense. It's right up his alley.
Yeah.
I love it, both picks.
Absolutely. Both picks. I know, Jim, you're a Patriots fan. That's your AFC team. What do you think of the pick? Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU.
I mean, it's a great pick. It helps out the front line, helps out the rookie quarterback with May, helps out with the running game. It helps out a lot. So it's a good pick for them.
Absolutely. And then Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. For Cleveland, your thoughts on that before we move on to pick 6?
I mean, shocker that they didn't pick Sanders, but again, they need a lot of help with that team. So, I mean, it's a good start in a good direction.
For sure.
Hopefully he can make a big impact.
Absolutely. And then that brings us to pick number 6. In the mock draft, this is where I had Shedeur Sanders going. And I thought it made sense because of the Tom Brady connection to Las Vegas. But they said, no, we're going to go with number 2, Ashton Genty. Which a lot of people argued that, he should have been the Heisman this year. But again, that conversation's for another day. But Ashton Genty is going to be in the backfield for Las Vegas with Brock Bowers up front. It's interesting. I don't know who's going to be the mainstay quarterback here in Las Vegas.
Gino? Yeah, they brought him in.
Okay.
He's getting paid. He's the guy. I think it's not even a question.
Okay.
It's going to be Gino.
Is it going to be Gino? Okay.
Now, I love the pick.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll and all his big stops where he was winning Super Bowls and having really, really good teams, it started with the running game. All the way back to USC with Reggie Bush and Lindell White. Right. He loves to run the ball, play really good defense. That's his calling card. He's playing great defense and running the ball. This is a Pete Carroll pick. You got a pretty good quarterback. I like it. I like it a lot. And then with Genty, he's going to be able to revolutionize that offense quick being able to run the ball and dictate some things to the defense. It's going to make it a lot easier on the quarterback, get some easier coverages. I like it.
He's going to be baby beast mode.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking at. He's probably going to he might lead the league in rushing attempts next year.
Oh,
Like,
I believe it.
They're going to be running the wheels off of that boy.
Oh, for sure. He's going to get that Larry Johnson treatment.
Absolutely.
Back with take your diapers off. You know, like, if you remember those days where Larry Johnson was getting fed, like, almost 30 carries a game.
He had like 400 carries 2 years in a row, which is wild.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But those Chiefs teams were good.
Those Chiefs teams were
You
good.
know.
They score points.
Yep.
Right? And I know for fantasy, Ashton Gentry's probably going to be a number 1 pick for
Yeah, he's got
lot
to be
of
top 2 or 3 for
Top
sure,
2 or
running
3.
backs.
Oh.
He's going to get the ball like
He's going
crazy.
to get the ball. Literally, when you turn on Las Vegas Raiders football, think Ashton Gentry. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. And Brock Bowers.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are two.
But they work together, though.
They work together.
All the play action passes with the running game stuff going on. You can't double cover them. It works together. Great.
It works together. And then they also have Jacoby Myers.
He's a speedster.
He's a speedster,
That's good.
solid wide receiver for a quarterback to use as a security blanket. I mean, obviously they don't have Devontae Adams anymore, but
Right.
just imagine that combination. If
Oh,
they
I
still
bet
have-
Devontae is kicking himself about leaving now.
For sure. He's
You got a
thinking-
stud receiver. You got a stud tight end. You got a stud running back. You got Geno, who's a real quarterback.
A real quarterback, yeah.
Man, if they had him back somehow, that'd been
Somehow,
great.
if they could work out
But he's in a good spot though. He went to LA.
He went to LA.
So, yeah.
He's a Ram.
Yeah, Rams.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Good
he's in a good spot.
He's a good spot. You know, obviously he's doing well with all the Taco Bell money too.
For
You know,
sure.
Even he's got a Taco Bell inside his
I mean,
house.
he got one in his house.
He's one in his house.
Chili cheese burritos on deck.
Cheetahs don't get chicken though.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll bring it to you, Jim. Ashton Gentry, your thoughts? 6th overall pick.
Great pick. Honestly, great pick. They could find helps out with their running game, helps out with everything. And honestly, I'm not surprised he didn't go earlier. I probably could have gone and helped out Cleveland. They could have gone and helped out New England. But dropping to the Raiders actually was a good spot for him because now you have the threat of running and the threat of a tight end. So now if Geno Smith can be himself, maybe they can make the playoffs this year.
Absolutely. And he's going to be running with another Boise State Bronco, former Minnesota Viking, Alexander Madison. So that's going to be a cool backfield to keep tabs on. All right, so we'll keep speeding through. We'll just do the top 10, and then we'll just talk about full NFL draft reaction. So we're just going to jet through. Pick number 7. The New York Jets took Armand Mebu out of Missouri, offensive tackle, to protect Justin Fields. What do you guys think about that pick real quick? We don't have to go too in-depth into it, but
Just again, young quarterback, building franchise. Hopefully he develops into be a franchise quarterback.
Sure. Yeah.
Got to protect him.
Yep,
Bottom
gotta
line.
protect him. Yep. Aaron Glenn learns this from coming from the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
And seeing
How important that
how
is.
important that was, protecting Jared Goff, and that equals more victories. Right.
100%.
100%. All right, Jim. If you have any other thoughts on that pick, we're moving forward. You have any thoughts on
It was a
that?
great pick.
Great pick. Okay, awesome. Love to hear it. So pick number 8, Carolina Panthers. They select Tatoria McMillan, otherwise known as T-Mac, out of Arizona. Big target, 6'5", 220, runs like a deer. I think that's a great pick for Bryce Young. I think they got Coker, they got Leggett. They also have Adam Thielen.
Yep. OG.
OG, you know, it's crazy.
You got some good running backs. Yep. Good young running backs.
Too. Yeah, you got Jonathan Brooks, Miles Sanders. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers, I think they're another dark horse. I think they might be in a wild card situation, possibly, in that NFC South. It's wide open. It's wide open.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I was very critical of Bryce Young. I felt like he was not very good coming out, but he showed some promise last year. And
Absolutely.
for a smaller quarterback, he's 5'9", 5'10", whatever, and someone who's kind of got confidence issues, a big old receiver is his best friend.
Right.
So tight end and a big receiver, great fit,
great
great
pick.
pick. Gives him some confidence, that range of motion. Excuse me, that catch radius is what I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
the catch
Catch radius. So even if I don't throw a perfect pass, if it's not right on time, a big body receiver can
My
go up
guy
and
can
get
go
it,
get it.
help a brother out. Great move.
Great move. Absolutely. I agree with that. And shout out to Rod Wave, making sure that Bryce Young didn't go off on the, off the edge, because it was getting very dark very quickly.
Yes.
Bryce Young, like week 1, looked awful.
Yeah.
But he looked like a completely different quarterback in week 18.
Yeah.
Where
I'm glad to see that. You want to see kids develop and be able to maximize their potential. And it looked dark, and I was one of the people that wrote him off, to be honest. So I was glad to see him rebound and come through that adversity a better player.
Yeah, and he's a Nick Saban kid, so you expect him to fight through it and make sure that he's able to stay on that field. All right, so that moves us to pick number 9, the New Orleans Saints. They select a offensive tackle, Calvin Banks Jr., to go ahead and protect their quarterback. Is it Spencer Rattler? Who's the quarterback in New Orleans? Derek Carr?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of questions.
They've got obvious issue at quarterback, and if you don't have a quarterback, it's going to be extremely tough. And in that division, those teams are getting better down there.
Right.
Tampa, they've got it rolling down there with Baker and Mike Evans and everybody going on.
They just drafted a quarterback, Tyler Skue,
Yeah,
out of Louisville. Yeah.
that's a trigger.
That's a trigger. That's a trigger, right? I mean, we can get
We're going to save it for Shadur Sanders.
We can save it for Shadur Sanders.
But
yes.
long story short,
Yes.
they're in a bad situation quarterback-wise, which is going to create a bad situation for the franchise.
Absolutely.
If you don't have a solid quarterback at least, you ain't got no chance.
Absolutely.
So Derek Carr, if it was me, I would go with Derek Carr because he's a better.
Yeah.
and
What is Mickey Loomis thinking, like at quarterback?
I mean, I'll be happy to come down and consult.
Okay. Absolutely. No prank calls though.
No prank calls.
No prank
prank
calls.
calls.
Okay.
But yeah, they got to fix that quarterback situation. Obviously, it's too late now. I mean,
Yes.
unless you throw a huge bag at Aaron Rodgers or something, but
Right.
that's the only available solution. So they're kind of stuck. Drafts come and gone, free agency's come and gone. They sat on their hands.
Right.
That kind of, for me as a coach and also for the players, not making a move at such a glaring position that has issues, kind of said that they're punting on the season already.
Absolutely.
It doesn't give me any motivation or any kind of confidence that we're going into the season really trying to win.
For sure. And I feel like the Saints are kind of like, I don't know. Everybody's been in relationships, but like I feel like the Saints haven't moved on from Sean Payton, and they kind of got like a little rumor that that Sean Payton really likes this Louisville quarterback. Like maybe if we draft him, maybe we could kind of creak that door open, and then maybe Sean Payton wants to come back or make a reunion, come back to New Orleans. I think he's happy with Bo Nix.
Yeah,
So I don't think he's coming anytime.
They gave him a huge bag.
Yeah, he's
in
not
a good situation with a good team.
a great city.
He ain't coming back to New
He
Orleans.
ain't coming back to New Orleans.
No time soon.
No time soon.
So no, that's
Yeah,
just
Saints fans, you guys can rewatch Home Team with Kevin James, and you guys can have your pipe dream that way.
that ain't happening.
That ain't happening. Okay, so that'll move us to pick number 10. Oh, Chicago Bears, Leon's favorite team, and we definitely want to thank Leon for jumping on for the mock draft, pinch hitting. But yeah, the Chicago Bears. I was joking. Shadur Sanders going number 10 to a Bears fan. He was like, "Oh no, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me."
That'd be wild.
That would have been wild. Like having Caleb Williams and Shadur
No
back
way.
to back years, that would have been wild. But we didn't. That didn't happen. Colston Loveland was taken at the 10th overall pick out of Michigan. I don't know. Tight end. I thought maybe they were going to go with Tyler Warren out of Penn
I agree.
State. I thought that was the pick.
That was my take as well.
I don't know what Ryan Poles saw with Colston Loveland, but maybe he was like, hey, let's do the play of love, land, and I really love this pick.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
If that's his logic, that's dumb.
That's dumb. Like, I was thinking Warren was the sure lock pick at number 10. And he landed to him.
I had
Fell
the
to him.
pleasure and privilege to go watch the Gophers play Penn State.
Sure.
I
Was it
seen
homecoming?
Warren. Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen Warren in person. He is an absolute dude, and he gives me like George Kittle vibes.
Sure.
I can run, I can block, I can catch. I'm very physical. I'm very aggressive. So for me,
Swiss Army knife.
100%. And you would think with Ben Johnson and his offensive genius to see a tight end that can do so many things and has so many his obvious gifts
Right.
that you would have picked him to go along with Caleb. Again, quarterback's best friend, running game, tight end.
Right.
big receiver.
Big receivers.
Makes it easy for him. I don't have to be perfect. Option routes over the middle, all the things you can do. I'll play all the things that tight ends bring to a quarterback.
Right.
I would have thought they would have went with Loveland. Warren, instead of Loveland. And then you go back and look at what Loveland did at Michigan.
Yeah.
He's primarily blocking. Big body, has the upside, made some plays, but he wasn't like a dynamic go-to receiver in the passing game. So I felt that for Caleb and everything they want him to be able to do, stud receiving tight end, who's the obvious number one tight end on the board, would have been the pick.
Right. He needed somebody that was ready to go week one, not somebody that Caleb needed to hey, let me get him going with a couple dink and dunks.
Think of Brock Bowers. Everything Brock Bowers did last year, that's what Warren has the potential to do.
Right.
They're kind of the same player.
Sure.
Big, athletic. Right. They run routes legitimately run routes like a receiver. He's that kind of guy. They even ran Wildcat stuff with him at Penn State.
Yeah, they did.
So he's a straight up athlete, run after the catch threat, run the whole route tree, inside the numbers and outside the numbers. This is a kid that you can build an offense around. Right. That you can just plug into an offense that already has 2 or 3 legitimate receivers in Chicago to go with a young quarterback. I just thought, I'm like,
you got DJ Moore.
Yeah. You plug him in the middle of that, you got those 3 options for receiving.
And you got Swift, too, as a running back.
And you got a pretty good running game already.
Swift, yeah.
And Caleb himself is mobile. So
you got to
worry about him sneaking. Yep. So I would have thought just with how that would affect the defense that they would have went with that pick. We'll see.
Again, it's all speculation.
Who am I?
Right.
You're a little old coach in Minnesota.
Hey, but you still have an opinion? We want to hear it. What's your thoughts, Jim, before we go over to Coach and talk about his Niners before we talk about Vikings?
Gonna make me cry.
Coach really hit it there. It was just a perfect pick. And, for the Saints, it's going to be tough. I don't know who they're going to start as QB. I don't know what's going on there. So it's probably going to be another struggle year for them. But anything can happen, so who knows?
Absolutely. And then, with the Bears, we wish them luck against the Packers. I know you're in the heart of Green Bay cheese country. And we'll talk about the Packers here, too, because they were the host of the NFL draft at Lambeau Field. And Mark Murphy did a great job with the first-round pick. But before we get to the Packers and the division rivals, the Detroit Lions, let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. I want to hear pick 11, Mykel Williams, Georgia, edge rusher. What does he bring to your team?
I love it. I love the pick, and it gets back to our roots. When we were really at our peak and our apex, we had an amazing pass rush where we can rush 4, didn't have to blitz. We played a lot of zone coverage behind it, which let Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw, all those guys run around, make plays. I think it gets back to our roots. I think that he's the number 2 edge rusher on the board. Great pick, great measurables. Now we have a legitimate guy to go opposite Nick Bosa, which makes it very difficult for teams to slide all the protection towards Nick and not have to worry about the other side. Now you have to play us both sides of the line.
Keep him honest. I
love the pick. That's a great pick. I'm a happy 49er fan.
Absolutely.
And in the first, 4 rounds, we picked 5 defenders.
Okay.
So obviously, anybody who's been following the 49ers even casually, our defense wasn't quite what it was last year.
Right.
So that was a big, and we got my boy Saleh back, boy.
Saleh's back.
So we got Coach Saleh back. When we was at our peak, he was our DC, obviously, as everybody pretty much knows. So we got him back.
That's
going back to the scheme that we ran back when we were playing our best, which is very big on rush 4, drive everybody back.
Yep.
So now having that pass rush to go back with Coach Saleh and getting guys healthy, getting back. The defenders that we picked, a lot of them are, athletic, kind of run around, hit stuff kind of guys. That's the kind of defense that we played. That's what Saleh likes to do on defense. I love it.
Yep.
Greenlaw's gone.
Oh, yeah, Greenlaw's gone.
Yep, and he got hurt. He tore a quad or something.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so
he hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately.
So now
Greenlaw's gone. Now it's
selfishly, selfishly as a businessman, you're happy.
Yeah.
Because we got him off our books.
Sure.
Didn't have to pay him the big bag, and then he got hurt on somebody else's, dollar.
Right.
Now we don't want to see nobody get
We don't
hurt.
wanna see
Don't
anybody
don't
get
hear
hurt,
me the wrong
but
way.
that's the business
But
man.
imagine
Yeah,
if we re-signed him
Right.
to a big bag and then he gets hurt in the offseason, so he's not available again. He's been
Yikes.
hurt for like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So that was a great move by us to let him go get some younger dudes that fits our scheme,
Right.
develop them a little bit, which we've been doing a great job of. We've been developing Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler in our system. Unfortunately, it come down, we have to pay them, telling them Hufanga and other guys we had to let go because they were due for big paydays and we couldn't afford it.
Right.
But I'm happy. So we filled a lot of holes on defense. I think our first 4 or 5 picks were all defenders.
Okay.
I'm cool with it. We got enough guys on offense.
John Lynch knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And Shanahan too. So Shanahan with his play calling, the system, and getting guys healthy back next year, offensively we're in a good spot. We need to get the defense back to playing top-level football as it had been the last 4 or 5 years. When we went to the Super Bowl 2 times in the last 4 years, and whatever it was, 4 consecutive NFC Championship games.
Absolutely.
So for us to get back to that level, the defense got to take that big step forward, which these picks help us do.
Right. You can talk about that defense. You can talk about all that. But the Niners, they stop and start with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. So
And if he's not healthy and you have to rely heavily on Isaac Guerrero,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a long season.
But
Sorry to break it to you. But
So-
Isaac Guerrero is a hell of a pick from Rutgers last year, and I'm still kicking myself today because I dropped him during a dynasty draft. I literally was like 2 weeks before the playoffs. I was like, oh, I need to go pick up a running back. Who did I drop? Isaac Guerrero.
Yep.
And I know he's going to be a stud. He's going to be a stud for y'all.
the thing that you have to remember is the Shanahan system, going all the way back to Big Daddy Shanahan, all the way back with the Denver Broncos.
Right.
That system is going to produce running back numbers. So it really don't matter who's playing. Now, again, you put a great player in there,
Right.
you know, Clinton Portis,
Right.
Terrell Davis,
Right.
Christian McCaffrey.
All-timers,
You know,
Christian
you put those
McCaffrey,
types
Terrell
of talent in
Davis,
there, it's
right.
going to be exponentially more.
Clint Portis.
That's what I'm saying. Clinton
Yeah.
Portis back in the day, Terrell Davis, McCaffrey, and so on and so forth. Those top-level elite talents,
Right.
it's going to be extraordinarily more. But even with no-name guys, I mean, Raheem Mostert, I mean,
Right, Raheem Mostert.
because
I mean, Devontae Freeman, they made it to the Super Bowl.
Atlanta.
Yep.
So, yeah, the system is going to dictate a certain level of production from the running backs, really, regardless of who they are. Because they draft them based on their attributes that fits the system, and the system does the system. So we're going to be good there. But I 1,000% agree, to be at the elite level that we want to be at offensively and get back to potentially getting into the Super Bowl again, we need McCaffrey to be McCaffrey.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
And they re-signed my boy George Kittle.
George Kittle did get extended.
Thrilled
Yes, he
about
did.
that.
Yeah.
Thrilled about that.
4 years?
Yeah, 4 years, like $53 million or some crap guaranteed.
Oh, he
Love
deserves it. He
Love
deserves
it.
it. Yeah.
100%.
It's a great.
He is the epitome of
Great extension.
what a 49er is.
That's
Through and through.
through and through.
Produces, obviously. It went crazy last year, even with Brock having not the great year, our team not having a good year, winning 6 games or whatever we won. But he still went crazy, had over 1,000 yards receiving.
Right.
And again, with a limited amount of targets. That's the one thing I always say. Kelsey and the other tight ends, they're getting a billion
They need
targets.
volumes. They need volume.
They're getting a billion targets. You look at what Kittle does
Kelsey
with
kinda fell off
limited
last year,
targets.
though.
A little bit.
A little bit.
He's showing his age a little
Age
bit.
a little bit, yeah.
You know, but also not having a legitimate receiving threat
Sure.
makes it difficult. Now
does.
teams can just key in and double team them and all the stuff they can
Right.
do. So back when he had Tyreek, back when Hollywood Brown and those guys were really producing at a high level, you had to respect their speed where you couldn't just double team and triple team Kelsey. So I think that's a little bit of both. He's getting a little older, but also defenses are like, hey, we're not scared of those receivers. We can just double team him and try
Double
to limit.
team, pinpoint, right. It's
Yeah.
like Brandon Ayuk was out. Like,
Exactly.
you had Ricky Pearsall recovering from a gunshot wound.
Right.
Like,
But he showed some promise last
did
year.
show
Towards
some
the end of the year, he was making some plays.
He was making some plays.
That's why I'm like, offensively,
Jawan Williams?
Jennings.
Oh, Jennings.
Yep, Jawan Jennings, yep.
Jawan Jennings, yep.
You know, you
Sorry,
begin.
excuse me.
No, you
Yeah.
good. You good,
Yeah,
man. You
Jennings.
good. I got you.
We're good. We're good. All right.
But you get BA back, Brandon Ayuk back. You got Kittle. We got Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings. I mean, we good.
You guys
offensively.
Good. Offensively. Okay. Because I did get to see your Niners, the lone game that I was at U.S. Bank Stadium last year. And I know you were there too with your son. So, like, I feel bad bringing this up. But, like, that was one of the most electrical, like, moments where I feel like there's going to be a lot of electricity this year, especially with the Vikings bringing in J.J. McCarthy. But before we transition to the Vikings, I want to get Jim's take on the George Kittle extension. What do you think of George Kittle getting that extension, getting that money?
I mean, he deserves it. The way he plays, he's one of the best tight ends in the league. He deserves it. And to keep him in San Francisco for 4 more years will help Brock Purdy a lot as the team goes through what essentially could be a rebuild. I believe they've lost a lot of key players last year. They didn't. Free agency is about to start soon, but
True.
it's a good signing for them.
It is.
But I think he's going to help out, be more of a factor this year than last.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. So let's shift over. The NFC North. Matthew Golden was selected number 1 overall for the Green Bay Packers. That was a great pick because I was hearing all the Packer fans in Green Bay during the draft. They were like, if we don't get a wide receiver, I'm going to blow a lid. Like, we need a receiver bad. And they went and got their guy. 23, landed to him. Matthew Golden. I thought he was going to go maybe like top 10, top 15 maybe. But he ends up in Green Bay. Jordan Love gets another weapon. That's going to be interesting to watch. Vikings, they get Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State, just coming off the national championship. A big reason why they won the national championship, I would believe, because of their running game. And he's coming in, switching to guard from tackle. So realize how versatile he is already. So that's going to be a big piece to what I like to call the Great Wall of St. Paul, where we have the center coming in from Indianapolis, Ryan Kelly. We also have Will Fries coming in from Indianapolis. And then we have Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw, otherwise known as CD, coming back from his injury, season-ending injury, out in LA. So we get Donovan Jackson and then J.J. McCarthy. So that's going to be the core, the offensive line with the quarterback. I really like the fact that the Vikings made that a point of emphasis going into the offseason is like, no more games. We need to fix the offensive line because they were pushing us all the way around. That Monday Night Football was probably one of the most embarrassing losses as a Viking fan that I could remember. Like, honestly, maybe you could say the NFC Championship game, 41 donut, but I knew that game was over. But watching Darnold just struggle to even complete passes behind that line, yes, he's partly to blame. I know he's in Seattle now, but he's still partly to blame. He needs to help the line and get rid of the ball faster. But the way that we got manhandled in the playoffs, I know Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah saw that, Kevin O'Connell saw that, said never again. We cannot put a team out and say that we're going to stand by this team with that kind of effort and type of execution on the offensive line. So I'm excited about this. Again, great draft. I mean, who did Detroit get? Let's take a quick look at Detroit because they got Tyleik Williams, who's a defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Smart move. I like that. And Malachi Starks. That guy somehow landed to the Baltimore Ravens, and he's I think he had over 300 or 400 snaps, gave up 1 touchdown in FBS. That's crazy. And that's what Kirby Smart brings to Georgia. And another pick that I feel like needs to be highlighted, great value pick, is not only Tyler Warren at 14 for the Colts. That's going to be a great pickup for them. Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker, University of Georgia linebacker, great pickup by the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if he's going to stay in Atlanta, but definitely watch his career because I think he is going to be a stud for years to come. And then wrapping up the last few picks here in the first round, Jackson Dart was picked right after the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think of Jackson's Dart? He was the second quarterback taken in the draft.
Overrated. He played in the SEC. He played in Lane Kiffin's system, offensive guru, offensive-minded coach. I think his numbers were solid. His ability to move, I think, is a little bit over-touted. They're saying he's like a Josh Allen. No, he's not. Let's stop that. He's just white. Now,
Let's stop that. Yeah.
he is athletic, you know.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, but he's not a running quarterback, and he won't be a running.
He's not a game
Brett.
changer on that level. Yeah.
You know, he can maybe scramble and ad lib, but he's not going to be like a running where you're going to design quarterback-driven runs behind him on the next level. So I think he's overrated. I think they reached there. I think in terms of a overall skill set, I like Shador more.
Okay. You like Shador more. Right?
Yep.
And you got to remember they have Malik Neighbors. They have a young, and then they also have Tyrone Tracy. They got a nice running back there. They have pieces. They have pieces in New York. So Shador Sanders was still on the board, but they still take Jackson Dart. So
I think
we'll see.
also
We'll see how
too,
this plays out. Yeah.
for me, you know, recent history tells you a lot. So for the Giants to pick Daniel Jones and kind of reach on him, white quarterback that's mobile, does have ability to throw, but not an elite arm talent, not an elite passer. You've seen this movie before. You just did this for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought it was not a good pick, and I think that Jackson Dart's overrated. In the next 4 to 5 years, he's going to be a backup quarterback.
Wow. And he was taken 25th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a huge price to pay for a backup. Okay. That's your
someone
outlook
who
on-
will turn into a backup.
That's
He's gonna
assuming
be
if
the starter.
He goes down that path. Okay. So, what's your take? We want to take we want everybody's take on Jackson Dart here because like I have my take on him too, but I want to hear your take, Jim. What's your take on Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss quarterback, second overall quarterback taken in this draft?
I mean, it's a risk they're taking. They got him at 26. They probably could have gotten someone off of free agency that probably has more experience. But, I mean, it's a wait and see. I understand they had Jones, and he was a wash. I mean, that's the risk you take. A draft pick is never a guarantee until they prove himself. So they think he was the second best quarterback in the draft, so they went after him and they got him. It's a wait and see. Maybe he'll be a backup in a year, like coach, or a couple years, like Coach said. Maybe he'll be the starter for the next 10. Just gotta wait and see.
Right. It's a big position to get wrong. Let's just say that. For the GM, I think was Joe Schofield or whatever. He might be updating his resume here soon because he's just been having some really bad picks. I mean, like he had the opportunity to take Jaden Daniels, right? And I think Jaden Daniels was actually the second overall. So I take that back. He could have moved up to get him. So I think his son might be a better GM.
I was getting ready to bring that up.
Yeah.
He asked his son, "What do you think?" He was like, "Nah, we shouldn't get rid of Saquon."
No, we should not.
His son said that.
Yeah, and go draft Jaden Daniels. Like, go trade up for him. Like, he's gonna be the
Hire his
star.
son, man.
Right, hire his son. Yeah. Okay, so this gets us back to the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy just had a presser, 100% cleared, no medical restrictions. He's out there, QB1, and he was just going through some walkthroughs. I know you might thinking like, whatever, it's just walkthroughs, but that's a big part of the rehab is actually being able to go take the presser as the QB1 and have that feeling of just like I'm fully back. And now, there's B-roll out there with his hat backwards, him throwing the ball at TCO, which is out in Egan, with the Vikings first team. So I think that's pretty cool. And he said that he's ready to start. That was his quote. He said, "I know I'm ready to start." Like when they ask him, like, "How do you feel? Do you feel like you're ready to start?" He has that confidence that he's ready to start. That gets me excited to see what J.J. McCarthy is going to do with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Tyler, what T.J. Hawkinson, and then you also just drafted Tay Felton out of University of Maryland. And that's basically, I believe, the closest thing that we've had to a Stephon Diggs, where someone is just going to be able to go get the ball and run after. But Justin Jefferson could do that on a different level. But I feel like he's just going to be more of that grit and grind. You just get the ball in his hand. He's going to be a gadget player. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Jordan Addison, nice first 2 years, but I feel like this puts the right amount of pressure on him to be like, oh, you really number two? Let's see it again. I mean, he does own the Green Bay Packers, and every time I bring him up to his name is like Mufasa. Packer fans like, ooh.
Oh, yeah?
Ooh. Like, they don't want to hear Jordan Addison. Ooh. They get scared because every time he's in Lambeau, it's 2 scores. The discount double check on that. You know, there's 2 scores every time Jordan Addison plays in Lambeau. So try this next time you sit around. Jordan Addison. Ooh.
That's
Jordan
hilarious.
Addison. Yeah.
I love it.
But I don't know. Like, with all this being said, the Vikings still got to prove it. Again, J.J. McCarthy. Jim, you brought up a good point. There's no guarantee with these drafts. I mean, Shadur Sanders, yes, he got picked day 3. He got humbled. Pick number 5th round, pick 144. I think he's going to blow up. And I feel like in that quarterback room, you got Joe Flacco, you got Deshaun Watson, who's out for God knows how much amount of time. So that's been a train wreck for Cleveland. So they're digging themselves out of that hole. They drafted Dylan Gabriel. They also they got Shadur Sanders, and who's their 5th guy? There's a 5th guy that's in there. But anyway, it's literally Shadur Sanders. 4 is basically. I believe it's a 4 quarterback.
Kenny
race.
Pickett's the other.
Oh yeah, Kenny Pickett. Yeah, Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett.
No.
He won as a backup. That's still on his resume.
I mean, you
Yeah.
get a ring.
You get a ring.
You get that on your resume.
Yes.
But his role was hold the clipboard and make sure Jalen Hurts is water bottles full.
Water bottle is full. Right. Exactly. Right. And make sure his spot's not taken on the bench. Right. But that brings me to the next point here. Shadur Sanders, week 1, does he get the opportunity to start in this quarterback room?
I like to back up if it's okay to JJ
Actually,
McCarthy.
We can trace back to JJ.
I'll be quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
How you doing?
My perspective on JJ is when he was at Michigan,
Sure.
he wasn't asked to throw the ball a lot. They had a juggernaut offensive line, powerful running game. They literally ran the ball all the way to the national championship.
Absolutely.
He was not a drop back.
Let's see
We're counting on you to win the game. Offense is built around you type of a quarterback. So now to transition into the NFL and be a top level pick and projected starter this year, I don't love it. And I am not a big believer in J.J. McCarthy for those reasons.
Okay.
My personal feeling is he's a rookie quarterback because he basically got redshirted his first year.
Last night?
Absolutely.
He
They
is coming off a
lost
knee
3-1.
injury. So say all the right things, have the right attitude, have a cool hat on backwards and sunglasses, getting out there in your first NFL season
Yes.
with defensive linemen from the NFL chasing you down, and with high expectations because you're on a loaded team. I don't like it.
You don't like it.
My personal take on it is they should have signed Aaron Rodgers or should still go sign Aaron Rodgers.
So,
They
because-
traded for Sam Howell day 3.
Who that?
He is a backup. That's all I'm saying. He's just a backup.
Who
Who did they
cares?
play again?
He ain't nobody. The Vikings are in win now Super Bowl roster.
I agree.
Like you said, if they don't have an all-time offensive line meltdown in the playoff last year, you could argue they should have been in the Super Bowl. That's how good.
That's how
That's
good
how
they were.
built this roster is, and now this
defense
roster is
was on
even
that
better.
level. Even better.
The
They've actually
Cardinals
improved the
lost to
roster,
South Bend,
and they're putting
8-4.
all the expectations on the rookie quarterback, second year, but rookie quarterback.
Yeah, they just drafted Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State.
I feel very strongly, and I know this from being a 49er fan.
Sure.
Your window's only open for so long.
For sure.
So
I'll
to
let them
say, oh, if we don't win it this year, it's cool, even though we have this win now roster and a quarterback on a rookie contract,
Right.
we're prime and ready to make a big step and or win a Super Bowl. We're good
Bye-bye.
with letting JJ figure it
Right.
out for the next couple of years. I think it's a tragic mistake.
Okay. It's a tragic mistake to start JJ this year.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And not bring in Aaron Rodgers to take this roster as far as it can go.
That's where I disagree. I feel
Prove me wrong.
okay. I feel,
I'm here for it.
All right. Well, I feel that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be good for the locker room, and I feel like Kevin O'Connell could handle an Aaron Rodgers, but I feel for the overall locker room sake, I feel like he's not the guy that you want to bring into your team and win games. Because what Aaron Rodgers has done in the last,
are we here
last few years
to get along and be best friends or win?
He hasn't won games.
He's in the Jets in an absolute dumpster fire.
Know, but like, again,
he had 4,000 yards passing,
right?
28 touchdowns and 14 picks in an absolute dumpster fire for the New York Jets.
He was part of that dumpster fire, though.
Yes.
Yes.
But
he made the bed. You got to sleep in it, too. You can't just point at it and be like, oh, that's a dumpster fire. I had nothing to do with that.
He had something to do with it.
Yes.
But we're talking about him as a quarterback, plugging him into a team and an offense that's loaded with talent, 3 times as much talent as he had with the Jets, plugging him into that system with a real coach, because they didn't have no offensive coach in New York.
No,
he was his own coach.
Yeah.
Freaking, what was his name? Nat Hackett?
Oh, yeah, Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah.
What a hack job. Yeah.
What a hack job.
Yeah.
And then they fired their coach, Robert Saleh.
Robert Saleh, yeah. That's your boy. So
yeah, but it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
The DM.
But like, Rodgers deflected everything to him, and like, I think Rodgers disrespected him the whole time.
Yeah, the way he pushed him on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, he pushed him up. After he's going for an embrace after a touchdown. What the hell are you doing?
But here's the point.
I would have benched him. Yeah.
Here's the point.
Yeah.
We're here to win in the NFL.
For sure.
This ain't high school football where we're trying to teach lessons and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And the NFL is a win now, win the Super Bowl or bust situation. If we really care about winning number one, Aaron Rodgers gives us the best chance to win at the highest level this year. Period, point blank, end of story. Watch. When you get into the season with J.J. McCarthy, he's a rookie. They're going to be blitzing him, disguising coverages, stunting and doing a bunch of weird stuff. He's going to struggle because he's a rookie. Yeah. And we got all this talent, this great offensive line, this great defense, with Brian Flores running that defense. We got all these receivers. We got multiple good running backs. We got a great coach in KOC. And the team's going to be limited because they got a rookie. Mark my words. Mark the date. We're going to be watching games like, damn, if we had a freaking quarterback that can read a blitz, man, we'd be straight. Man, if the kid wasn't scrambling out every play instead of hitting his check down, we'd be great. Man, if he wouldn't stop taking sacks, man, we'd be great.
I think there's going to be.
It's going to happen.
Okay. That's your perspective. I know today's May 3rd. We'll jot down the date. We'll pull this up for a record. This will be part of the archives. But I feel like what J.J. McCarthy is going to do is he's going to evolve with this offense. I feel like maybe you might be overshadowing the fact that he did hand the ball off a lot at Michigan. And I feel like a lot of people are maybe misconstrued thinking that he could pass the ball. That's why he was handing the ball off. I feel like he can make every throw. He did prove that in the first preseason game where it was against other NFL prospects.
Ain't nobody blitzing or playing real defense in preseason.
Still, they're fighting for their jobs. They're fighting for their jobs.
Who, me? I'm out there. I'm out there at linebacker.
No, I mean those players. No, those players.
I'm saying you might as well have me out there.
I know, but they did make an NFL roster. Some of them did that he did go up against. So that's why I'm saying he made all those throws in that game. And then if it wasn't for his torn meniscus.
How many teams have we seen win
we
4 games in a row?
Technically, this is his first season. He's not a rookie anymore.
He is a rookie. He ain't played.
I know, but let's be real. He was there for a lot of the reps.
Oh, you mean watching film?
Yeah, watching film.
Oh, that's great.
Mentally, he's been getting ready for that.
Mentally
NFL.
and doing is 2 different things.
It is 2 different
mentally
things.
Right now,
I feel like you're kind of discounting his mental preparation as well.
I'm being realistic about.
I'm being realistic too. I'm not
being mentally prepared and physically doing is 2 different things. True. I can be mentally prepared to run a triathlon. You get my butt out there trying to do that right now, I'm dead.
True. I'll give you that. But
in the NFL.
That's the thing. He gets week to week. So he gets better every week.
Mark my words.
It's not just a one shot at it.
In the games that our defense doesn't dominate,
sure,
and we're not able to overpower people running the ball,
yes,
and when we need him to be like, oh, shoot, We need
need a
JJ.
play.
We
We need
need
a play.
JJ to win the game.
Right.
Oh, we need JJ to convert a 3rd and 13. Like the time where the quarterback can't be hidden, that's where we're going to suffer.
I feel like there will be a learning curve, which is okay. That's what you have to accept. When we took this path, we decided not to continue to shoot ourselves in the foot, because that's what we did with Kirk Cousins. That's what we did. I mean, like, we didn't get the job done. The ultimate goal, winning the Super Bowl. That's shooting ourselves in the foot. Every time we give that money to a quarterback that doesn't deliver, for me, you're doing a Plaxico Burress. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not helping your cause. So that's basically years that we took away that we couldn't win the Super Bowl. So now we're starting right over square one with J.J. McCarthy, and I feel like he gives us the best chance to win over a long period of time. You're saying right now,
that's my point.
Aaron Rodgers, what's his mind state? I don't know that.
As the coach,
that's a big unknown. Coach.
As the coach and the GM, I agree. You got to sit him down up front. Look, bro, you can't be in the media talking crazy. You can't be acting like you got to set the stage.
Right.
But that's
right.
why you're the coach.
Yep.
They hire you to maintain and manage the roster and the culture and locker room. So before you make that commitment, yes, have that conversation. And if he's not talking right, then no, we're not interested. Aaron, let's be honest. At this point, Aaron Rodgers is desperate to be on a good team.
Yes, he is.
To get another Super Bowl.
Yes.
So I find it very hard to believe if KOC, especially a coach he respects, KOC has a proven record, is obviously the great offensive coach, great coach in general.
Right.
Franchise is on point and going higher and higher every year.
He's been to the mountain.
Quasi's doing a hell of a job building the roster.
Right.
So he wouldn't come in here talking crazy and acting crazy like he would in New York. They gave him the red carpet because he was the savior. You're not going to be the savior here. You're going to be an important piece, but you're not going to be able to move and do how you was moving and doing in New York. That's not happening.
Right.
So that aside.
New York was way more desperate.
Yes, and they just did whatever you want.
Right.
So that's not the situation here.
Right, exactly.
But my point being is, what I'm saying, you could have either brought back Sam Darnold.
Sure.
And gave him like a big fat 1-year contract.
I was not going to be happy with that, yeah.
But like we said, the offensive line gave him literally no chance. 2 weeks in a row. And I'm going to be honest.
You needed the most.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
I love KOC. He was calling bad plays because they were long developing plays, play action pass, take a 5-step drop. Now we're looking down. Bruh, you should be screens, quick slant, pitches. Like, get the ball out quick if you know your O-line is struggling or your quarterback's not having the greatest amount of confidence.
Right.
So he didn't help him out either. Go back and watch some games. A lot of them plays.
Quick slants. The only touchdown that they scored was a quick slant.
Ball came out quick.
Ball came out quick. Yep.
Especially when you know they're heating you up, bringing blitzes and everything else. And Detroit, they're a cover 1, cover 0 team. They're playing straight up man-to-man.
Yep.
Putting hands on everybody and blitzing you. It's not a secret.
No, it's not
So I think KOC fumbled in his preparation and play calling. O-line didn't give him a chance. So bring him back. So that way, at least starting the season, you have an established veteran that we've seen play at a high level in this system. So it wouldn't be a whole learning curve and all that kind of junk. And then if he's killing it in practice and or Darnold's not playing great, plug homeboy in there, JJ.
Okay.
But to put the whole thing on him now and you have this great team, because like you said a restart. If we were restarting the franchise from where we suck and we're trying to build the team and now we just drafted the quarterback, Tennessee. Yeah, put them out there. They all learning together. We're not expecting to win Super Bowl this year.
For sure.
We 4 or 5 years out.
Yeah, you don't have all the weapons already. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you're in the Cam Ward's conversation.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying with Tennessee. Yep, with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
But now you got a Super Bowl team and a great coach. Like these moments don't stay open forever.
Right.
So you got to cash in when you can. And I feel like they're not doing that, and I don't like it. And I know I'm right. Wait, let's circle back.
Let's circle back.
Late January, late December, early January, into the season, going into playoffs. I'm like, dang, if JJ didn't have that bad game against the Packers, man, we would have one win where we could have been a home for the playoffs versus not being in the playoffs. Like, I'm telling you, and I'm not saying that just because I have a thing against JJ.
Sure.
It's two things. One, I haven't seen you do it before. I haven't seen you
haven't
be.
seen the
I haven't
track
seen you
record.
do even what Shador did.
Right,
Shador was the centerpiece of the offense, and he was throwing his team to wins. He was being counted upon to throw the team to wins. He wasn't doing that. Cam Ward throwing his team to wins.
Sure.
Jackson Dart, say what you want to say. He was throwing his team to wins.
Right.
So if I haven't seen you do it in college, and then we're going to bring you to the NFL, the top pick, and say, hey, we're going to ask you to do something that we really have never seen you really do, and we're going to hope that it goes great. I don't like that.
I just feel that they have set up with KOC, Kevin O'Connell, I believe also Phillips, the offensive coordinator. They've set him up to reach these benchmarks. And I feel like they wouldn't put him.
You think they can win the Super Bowl this year?
I think right now they can compete, but like again, they have to prove it on the field. I could tell you right now they can go win the Super Bowl, but until they can show me the championship level that the Philadelphia Eagles showed on Super Bowl Sunday, all around, I feel like we have a solid group that can compete for a title.
Jalen Hurts is another one.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, not a great passer.
Not a great passer, no.
Even if receivers were saying, man, I wish we could throw the ball more. I wish
Accurate balls? Can I get an accurate ball?
his
Right.
receivers were saying that.
Right.
So, again, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Sure.
They put a system around Jalen Hurts, knowing he's limited as a passer. Let's just be real. He is.
Yes, he is. He is.
Great receivers.
Great receivers.
Elephants up front blocking for him.
Absolutely.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon
Got that defense.
Got a stud tight end, Dallas Goedert. Right.
So how many games, though, even last year in a Super Bowl run, did Jalen throw them to wins?
That's the thing. They don't need to. They got Saquon. They lead with their running game. Their running game opens up the rest of the offense.
But my point, all I'm saying is, and we can move on.
Sure.
We got long-winded here.
Sure.
Jalen is in what year, 5 or 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah, that sounds about
And
right.
he's
He was
still,
like 20.
and he's still
20,
not
21.
quite there
No.
as a passer.
No, he's not quite
right?
there. No.
So everything around him had to be perfect
Sure.
in order for them to
Howie Roseman
break through and get the Super
recognized
Bowl.
that. Yep.
right?
Right.
So with JJ, we're pretty much asking him to do the same thing. Kind of game manage, don't lose the game, do a little something, learn, grow, expand.
Right. Be mobile. Be mobile.
Yeah, make a
right.
play here or there.
Make a play here or there. Right. We're not asking him to like invent a new play for him like the tush push. We're not asking that. Yeah.
It took Jalen 5-6 years.
Sure.
And even when they went to the Super Bowl a few years back and they lost to Patrick Mahomes and them,
Right.
he had an amazing Super Bowl.
Yes.
But everybody said, where'd this come from? We've never seen this. He had the game of his life in the Super Bowl, which is great.
Yeah.
But from that moment, since then, he has never recaptured that kind of magic. So I'm just kind of saying, like, in this league, unless everything is perfect and you get just enough from the quarterback, going to the Super Bowl and winning it is the goal.
It is.
You play to win the game.
Play to win the game.
So you want to put yourself in a situation, especially when you have the team, to maximize that.
Exactly. And I agree with that.
Like-
but with the right player, and Aaron Rodgers is not the guy for me.
I understand from a personality standpoint, but let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Let's go super hypothetical.
Absolutely.
10 years from now, if they brought in Aaron Rodgers and they won the Super Bowl, are we going to talk about Aaron Rodgers being a butthead and a culture killer? Are we going to talk about, man, Vikings finally got that Super Bowl, boy, 2025, man, we finally got one.
Yep, that's going to be the narrative.
That's it. Lawrence Taylor absolutely destroyed their locker room from a culture standpoint, but they let him get away with murder.
Yeah, they did.
Do we ever talk about that? No.
No.
Great pass rusher.
Feared player, all-timer, right?
All they talk about is their results.
The results.
They're not talking about
Results
all the
matter.
minutia
Sure.
of it from a historical standpoint.
For sure.
Go 10 years from now, we're looking back, we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers being a diva. We're talking about how he came in, took us to the next level, Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
That's if the Super Bowl happens. But, again, hypothetical. If he does, I'm happy with it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you can't have him on the team. Because, like, what happened when Favre showed up? They went to an NFC championship. That was the closest that they got.
If he didn't throw a pick, throwing it behind his body across the field, we would be in the Super Bowl that year.
Yep, absolutely. And you beat the Colts.
And he had a wide open receiver 10 yards in front of his face, and he could have ran.
Could have ran.
So if Favre didn't Favre,
Exactly. If Favre didn't Favre, the Vikings could be putting up a banner back, was it Super Bowl 45, whatever it was?
so
Yeah.
can I make one last point?
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. At that time, the Vikings said, dang, we got everything but a dang quarterback.
Right.
If we brought in Brett Favre to be half of Brett Favre, we got a chance. He came in there and was killing it. That first year, he was on fire. 33 touchdowns, 7 picks,
Right.
murder in the game.
Murder in the game. Beat the Packers twice. Swept them. And those are the two biggest games.
They knew we were in a win-now situation. We have a
yeah.
great roster.
Right.
We need a quarterback. Let's bring in a vet to
So
take us over the hump.
You're telling me history repeats itself here.
And he was a Packer,
He was a Packer.
coming from the Jets.
This is literally the same script.
That's all I'm saying.
It's the same movie.
That's all I'm saying.
But does Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't really, he has ticked up a little bit on the interceptions a little bit. Let's be completely honest.
Bad situation.
Bad situation, but
Not
still
great
judgment.
offensive system.
Still judgment from the quarterback. He's the one that's releasing the ball. They might be still telling him to play, but he's the one that's still physically releasing the ball.
I agree.
So, I'd say that's a cause for concern. If we were to get Aaron Rodgers, that would be my only cause for concern is, I don't like the interceptions. And I feel like if we could limit that, I would be a little bit more excited about it.
Let me ask you one more hypothetical.
Sure.
Do you think?
Jim, feel free to chime in too. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know
for sure.
you've been listening
No, I
to
know.
this back and forth, which is great. But
Yeah.
yeah, feel free to chime in.
I'm just sitting back on this. I'm letting you guys go all out. I want to hear both sides, but I think if I'm going to chime in a little bit, I think JJ is going to be ready for this year. Now, is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be the CJ Stroud, or is it going to be or
Jay
is it gonna be
Daniels? Right.
or is he going to be Bryce Young? Is he going
Bryce
to
Young.
need some time to develop, or
Right.
does he need is he going to come in and bring us to the playoffs and bring us deep?
I just don't think that JJ is
True.
as good as CJ Stroud or Jaden McDaniels, or this is going to be very, 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 very controversial.
Okay.
Brock Purdy.
Woo!
Brock Purdy,
Ooh.
a situation
Mr.
though.
Irrelevant.
Same situation though.
Okay.
Amazing team.
Amazing team.
All we need him to do is distribute the ball.
Yep. Game manager.
But
Yeah.
he did that in college.
Iowa
At
State.
Iowa State.
Yep.
It was all about Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's not that tall, don't have the strongest arm, but what did he excel at? Throwing the football, being the centerpiece of the offense. That's all I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong about JJ, because again, I'm a 49er fan first. Vikings are number 2. I love the Vikings. I want to see the Vikings be successful. Do not get me wrong. I'm not rooting against them.
Absolutely.
I just, from a football logic standpoint, like we say about players when you bring him in for free agency.
Yeah.
If a corner was a man corner on his last team, and you bring him in and play zone, and he's not doing or producing how he did in the last place, he's not doing the same things. That's all I'm saying. I would love to see JJ be successful. I just haven't seen him be a consistent drop back, read the defense, distribute the ball. I'm getting 25, 30, 35 passes a game type of quarterback. Please prove me wrong, JJ. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying is please prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong that you can be that quarterback
Go
that
through
we can.
that. Yeah, basically go through the schedule, be able to make those consistent reads throughout the whole schedule. Not just oh, you had a good game here, bad game. Good game here, bad game.
And
basically flip-flopping.
circumstances
Right.
matter though. If we were a middling team or a bottom third team, it don't matter.
Right.
Bro, we got everything we need from the Minnesota Vikings to be in the Super Bowl and or win it.
Sure.
So
we have the coaching
expectations
staff.
change everything.
Right.
The expectations for our team is we have a great team, great coach, great situation. We are in the top 10, top 5 teams in the league.
Absolutely.
If the quarterback balls and does his job,
He's gonna separate them.
all things point to we should be in the NFC Championship game
Yeah, the Vikings should be in the NFC
and
Championship
or in the Super Bowl.
or in the Super
So
Bowl.
if we go
Competing
backwards
for
from
either.
there,
Right.
I have a problem with going backwards from what we did last year. So let's say last year, I forgot the record, but whatever the record was,
13-4.
13-4, and we got to the second round of playoffs. Am I mistaken, or was that wild card?
Wild card.
Okay, so we lost in the wild card to
It
Detroit.
also, it felt like a second round because we had multiple playoff games.
Yeah.
For the division, we lost that.
Right.
And then it was the wild card.
So if we go backwards from a record standpoint,
Sure.
and or we don't make the playoffs,
Sure.
this is a problem.
It is.
And it's not okay. that's my thing. Is like as a team and as a franchise, we can't be like we have this great team, one of the top 3, 4, 5 rosters in the league, great coach, top 5 coach in the league, great top 5, top 3 GM in the league,
Absolutely.
and we're cool with missing the playoffs because we got a rookie. Huh?
That can't be the case.
What?
That can't be the case. That can't be the case. So I'm going to pivot here. They make the playoffs, but let's say we get to the divisional round. We make it a round further.
What's the record?
Let's say we're 11 and what would be 11 and 7? 11 and 7.
So if we
Yeah.
make it around further in the playoffs,
Right, but
it's
we're a
better.
wild card. But like, let's say we go on the road again. We're not division champs. We'll just settle. We'll settle expectations. We're not division champs. Either Green Bay, whoever wins it,
Right.
or Detroit. We coast into the divisional round. We beat our wild card opponent, whoever it is. We beat Seattle or whoever. We get to the divisional round. We play at Detroit. We play at Tampa. We play at Philadelphia. You play at Philadelphia. Saquon goes crazy. You lose. I feel like, okay, you played up to that level, but as long as it's a hard-fought game, you're not getting blown out, I can live with that. All right, JJ, we'll come back stronger next year.
I disagree.
I'm not saying that it has to happen this year. I want it to happen, but if it says like, all right, he has to learn how to win, because like I was watching a really cool documentary, and then I'll land this plane. We'll talk some basketball too, but I was watching this cool documentary with Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas this morning. Super cool. It's players only. NBA TV does a really good job where these players encapsulate like their careers. So 1984, if you can remember that, Lakers, Celtics, Magic Johnson. I mean, he's coming off winning it his rookie year. So it's kind of like the same situation where you're saying like, why can't we win with this guy? If J.J. McCarthy wins it his first year, that'll be almost like the expectations. Well, why can't we get to the Super Bowl every year? But with Magic Johnson, 1984, the first time he ever lost at a major level. High school, he killed it. College, he killed it. NBA, he killed it. Every time he's in a title situation, he's coming out on top. For him to lose to Larry Bird, and literally, he was with Isaiah Thomas after the game. Not a word being said between them, those two, but he was just crying. Just because he had never felt that defeat of just like, you had to go home knowing that you were number 2. Yeah, and then that was his biggest rivalry at the time, Larry Bird. But that whole offseason, he was like, I'm about to come back. And I feel like that might need to happen with J.J. McCarthy at some point, where he has to come back from his injury. But now, once he actually gets into the game action, I feel like if there's a huge loss, he has to come back from something like that too. Because like the great ones, Tom Brady, he had to lose the biggest one, the giant loss. Like when they lost to the Eli Manning and the New York Giants, I feel like that could have really defined his career. Just say, couldn't be perfect, Tom. You lost the giant one. But then after he was able to reclaim his legacy when, they went on to win Super Bowls against the Seahawks, Atlanta, in like comeback style. But again, I think it comes back to like understanding the player is great, but you got to understand we also got to be patient for their timeline to kind of sync up with the team. Because I feel like JJ has greatness in him, and I feel with his now NFL coach Jim Harbaugh said like he's probably going to be the best Michigan prospect of all time.
I hope he's right.
I hope he's right too. But let's talk basketball. I know I did bring up that, but like definitely check it out. Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson, great conversation, and they talk about how Isaiah Thomas lost to the Bulls like his last hurrah in '91 because of his wrist. And then he said back then, if you were injured, they were gonna come attack you, and that's what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were doing. They were slapping at his wrist because they knew that was the only way that they were going to get to the NBA Finals is through Isaiah. But great documentary. It just really helps you understand the mindset of a champion. Yeah. But speaking of champions, who's going to win the NBA Finals. I mean, we got a couple Game 7s coming up. We got Golden State got forced to a Game 7. They lost last night. I'm sorry. Game 7 for the Denver Nuggets and the LA Clippers. And then also Game 7 for Colorado's going to be busy. Colorado fans are going to be busy. Another Game 7 for Colorado for hockey. Avalanche and Dallas Stars. Jim, maybe you might be able to talk about a little bit of the NHL action. I know Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues, they're going to a Game 7. But yeah, let's focus in on the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, LA Lakers. Your thoughts on the series before we get into anything past that?
Timberwolves definitely earned it. They brought it on the court, and I think that JJ Redick had some major coaching blunders. Number one, not playing Jackson Hayes, which I just don't understand the logic. His excuse or his reasoning was they wanted to put the most amount of potential scorers on the court. Gotcha. However, when you're leaving no rim protection, you're asking the Timberwolves to continue to drive the ball into the paint and get layup, which they did. Continue to drive into the paint and get fouled, get free throws, which they did. Now you're absolutely giving away the rebounding advantage. You already got Rudy out there, but then you got Naz Reid and everybody else. So there was
Julius Randle.
Yeah, absolute landslide in rebounding. So you banked your ability to outscore the Wolves and not have any chance to rebound, not have any chance to defend the Wolves, and just gave them the 100% advantage. I think Chris Finch did a hell of a job with taking advantage of that. He kept telling Rudy, be big, roll to the basket, be 7'3" with that wingspan, and get every rebound, dunk it as many times as you can, get some lobs, and they did exactly that. So I feel like the Lakers got outcoached. JJ was too arrogant, refused to adjust to what was happening.
Yeah.
What was happening? As a coach, you come in with a game plan, and God bless him, he probably thought that was the best way to win. When you get into the game and you see that it's not working, that's when you have to adjust.
Don't double down. Yeah.
Yeah, don't double, triple down, like I kind of said about the Vikings in a sense. You're sinking the ship to protect your ego.
Exactly.
So Jackson Hayes at least would have been able to give Rudy some resistance, to not obviously give Rudy a free reign over everything happening in the paint. And also, here's another quietly kept point. Luka is at his best when he has a lob threat.
Exactly.
When I can drive to the paint and kick, drive to the paint and have an option to throw a lob to Jackson Hayes, or I can finish on my own. So you're building the offense around Luka, but you're handicapping one of his biggest weapons, was being able to throw those lobs when he drives into the paint. So I just think Wolves deserved it. They get to celebrate and talk all the trash, and hats off to Coach French. Hats off to the boys for the Wolves. In order of my teams, number one, Lakers. Number two, Wolves. Number three is Golden State. Bay Area kid.
Bay Area.
So
cool.
I love it. I'm happy for them. They deserved it. I don't have any problems with it.
I got you. Yeah. Anthony Edwards definitely got his wish. He was able to go up against LeBron and Luka, and knowing that Luka eliminated him the last time that they were in the playoffs, I think that was cool to see his maturation as a playoff performer. We saw it in round one last year against Kevin Durant, who went after him. Same thing in game 3. He was checking him like it was like a defensive back. Like I like the fact that he learned from LeBron, and I believe this series was actually won last summer in the Summer Olympics.
Well,
Yeah, because he got up underneath, LeBron James, and he was literally just learning how he plays, what he likes, what he doesn't like to do. Same thing with Curry. He was spending a lot of time with Curry and Durant, and I feel like this was from Paris 2024 to present day 2025. We sit here May 3rd. I think Anthony Edwards has been preparing himself for the playoffs. And one thing I would definitely we'll add that video to the Anthony Edwards year 5, he does a really good job of just kind of giving you that behind the scenes and saying like, hey, when we played Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, I was in shoot around after Game 7. We beat Denver. Rah, rah, we're so happy we made it past the second round. And we beat the team that just won the title, so we're feeling good about ourselves. He said, like, after the first jumper that he put out in the shoot around, he said, this is going to be ugly. Like, my legs are done. He said that he was shot at that point. So that gets me excited. He's only 22, 23. Like, him realizing, like, his capabilities, but being able to continue to push that. And I feel like Minnesota's been blessed to have Anthony Edwards because we could have went with LaMelo Ball because, like, a lot of people were saying, you got to take Ball. He's a surefire pick, right. But we went with Anthony Edwards. People were saying he wants to play football. Like, he's not even really committed to basketball. That was, like, the big thing that was kind of buzzing at the time. So I'm glad that we took Anthony Edwards. He's a great persona, and he's basically a must-watch TV during the playoffs. You gotta watch. Jim and I, we got to watch Game 5. I know you watched Game 5. What the hell was going on when they put Max Kleber in the game?
Another huge blunder.
A huge blunder.
So Kleber hasn't played, as we all know. If you haven't followed it, you've been under a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't played since January. So you already disrespected your bench by playing the same 5 the whole second half of the previous game, which was a huge blunder. You got an older player and a fat, out-of-shape player in Luka. I love Luka, but we're being real.
That's being real.
You're not in great shape physically, and you got a 40-year-old player. You're running them completely out of gas in the second half, expecting them to have that juice for the last 2 minutes. Bad. And then you disrespect your bench that way, too, by saying, I don't trust any of you guys to come in the game and do nothing. So then you come back the following game, and you need to put in some size for 3 minutes left or whatever it was, 4 minutes left in the game. You adjust with 4 minutes left, and the game's pretty much decided because Minnesota was kicking our ass. And then you put in somebody who haven't played since January.
In a tight game.
And a must-win.
Must win.
All the chips are in the middle of the table game. Just a few. JJ is going to be a great coach. He's super smart. He has the right personality. I would rather you be a tough coach than be a soft coach. Yeah. I love everything that he does from a schematic standpoint. The ego.
The ego's got to go.
It felt like I feel like he was trying to prove a point to his bench. I don't trust you, Jackson, so much. He told the press before the game that Jackson Hayes is not going to play the whole game. Before we get into the game, I'm not going to play this player.
Right. What?
You already made your mind up. You're not going to play somebody no matter what happens in the game? As a football coach, if I go in with a scheme or a game plan, where I feel like we're going to be able to run the ball over somebody and we can't do that, okay, we got to throw the ball. I'm just going to say, no, we're not going to throw it because I already made my mind up we're going to run it.
Exactly.
That's coaching malpractice. Absolutely. So for him to do that and then look past Jackson Hayes, who's been playing the whole time, to Kleber, it's just.
You throw your hands up at that point.
At that point, I was just like, bro, what is this? What's going on?
In an elimination game where you got to have it. Otherwise, it's vacation time.
So the point that somebody said, I forget where, I'll try to give credit to sources, but they said that because Kleber can shoot.
Kleber can shoot. Right?
So he's another offensive threat to add shooting to the field. Okay. So you're still saying offense. We're not going to even try to play defense or rebound.
Exactly. Yep.
So he's a 7-foot, 300-pound shooter. Got it.
Right.
How that worked out for us in 5 games?
Not well at all. I mean, the Wolves were awful from 3-point.
I was getting ready to say that. They were historically bad. They were worse
7 for 47.
They were worse than the game that the Rockets played a few years back when they shot 27 straight misses from 3-point range. They had 24. And then the Wolves shot 27. Until Mike Conley hit the corner 3. They had missed 27 straight threes, and they still had a chance to win the game. Talking about the Lakers. The Lakers still were in striking distance of winning the game when the Wolves missed 27 straight 3-pointers.
It was 18, but still, it felt like 27.
Okay.
Yeah, it still felt like what are we doing? Are we gonna just throw this game? This is like I felt like, all right, the NBA just manufacturing in Game 6 here. Like, what's going on? Like, because we kept on, I mean, like, as a Timberwolves fan, just seeing all those threes just get clanked, and they were wide open.
It's a make or miss league.
Yeah, it's a make or miss league, and you just were. I was just pleading with Anthony Edwards, like, once you
Drive
get
the ball.
back in the game, just drive the ball.
Because they ain't had no rim protector.
Yeah, just drive the ball.
LeBron is the rim protector.
Right, LeBron,
Boo!
boom on him. Like, I seriously.
Or get fouled, get free throws.
Get fouled or get free throws. Like, the Timberwolves are just making it more difficult than it needed to be. Okay, absolutely. But like now, the Timberwolves have to look forward to a lot of different things. And now that they took care of the Lakers and Anthony Edwards did his lap around Staples Center, Crypto.com, whatever you want to call it, the Forum, Staples Center. I give it respect and call it Staples Center.
Same.
Yeah.
As a Laker fan, it's still Staples.
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan. That's my second team. I got to root with Timberwolves.
I get it.
You get it. Minnesota kid. Yeah. But realizing what Anthony Edwards did and the LA locals walking around, he's like, "Well, why y'all messing with me? I sent y'all ass home." Like, he said, "Lakers at 5," and he took that to heart. And I like that because now I almost want to see Golden State, because I feel like with Houston, I think they might take them lighter than Golden State.
My 2 points will be really quick. I know we're running out of time.
We're running out of time, yeah.
When you win, you get to talk trash.
You do.
That's it. So if we don't like Anthony Edwards taking a victory lap around Staples and talking trash, we should have beat him. Period. Because he wouldn't be doing that if they lost. Number 2, the better matchup for Minnesota, I think, is the Warriors. I think they'll probably wipe the Warriors, because you see what the Warriors doing right now against Houston. Mm-hmm. They are melting down.
They're melting down.
They about to lose in Game 7. And that's my second team, and I'm feeling some kind of way about it.
That's in Houston. I'm hoping the Golden State pulls it out.
Houston, we don't. The best matchup would be us against Minnesota against the Warriors.
Yes.
The worst matchup, I think, even if you include like Denver and other teams in the West, is Houston. They're big, they're athletic, they're tough, they can score.
Right.
Like, that's the team that Minnesota probably wouldn't want to play.
They don't match up well with Ime Udoka. Like, I know he's coming over from Boston now that he's getting a little bit more traction his first time around in the playoffs with this Houston club. I think experience could show out, but again, I feel like Anthony Edwards can take it to that next level. But again, I don't want to overlook any opponent, and I feel like Houston they would give less respect to compared to Golden State.
Yeah,
that's why I feel like
Golden State has Curry
so,
and Jimmy Butler and Draymond.
Sure.
So that's a name thing.
And Draymond likes to talk, and then we'll talk back. So like I think that could be a mental, psychological thing. Mm-hmm. But again, you still got Dillon Brooks with Houston,
right?
And he did beat them with Memphis a few years back. So maybe that could be an edge too for Anthony Edwards. I mean, like and then also Fred VanVleet is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the better matchup for Minnesota, speaking as a Minnesota fan, would be the Warriors. And I don't even know if it'd be that close, honestly. It'd be like another Lakers, maybe in 5, maybe 6 if Curry goes crazy in a couple games.
Sure.
I think they would stomp on the Warriors pretty bad.
Okay.
The team that they don't want to mess with is Houston. They're almost a carbon copy of each other. Long, athletic, physical, tough, trash talking, play great defense.
Right.
Like, that's going to be a slobber knocker.
It is.
That could be like a seven-game series type battle.
But I like the fact that Houston's playing 7 out the gate. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's going to give us an advantage for legs and then also experience.
Yeah. But Houston's young, too.
They're young.
They can come back a little bit faster than maybe older, more veteran-heavy teams.
Exactly. That's true. All right, so we're going to wrap up here. We're going to land this plane. Mm-hmm. The Game 7 tonight, Denver, LA. Who do you have advancing playing OKC?
If I had to pick a team, I'm going to go with Denver. I think
they're at home. Yeah.
Denver's at home. Veterans, been there, done that. Championship medal. I think Jokic takes it up another level, maybe score a little bit more. He's been more in kind of facilitator mode most of the series. See him getting more aggressive offensively. They got James Harden for the Clippers. They're counting on him to be big in a Game 7.
Oh, Game 7.
We know what James does in the playoffs. So with all that being said,
Right.
I would go with Denver.
Go Denver. I would agree with that. I'd probably go Denver as well, just because of what Jokic can do. Jamal Murray. You know, I haven't seen too much from Michael Porter. I mean, like, he needs to step up.
This is one of them games, though.
It's one of those games
hey,
that
big
he
dog,
can step up.
you
Yeah,
just
big
stay in that
dog.
corner, knock them threes down.
You know, hey, earn your keep. Earn your keep. You know, can't just be any geek with this steal.
You gotta be handy with the steal.
Come on now. Shout out to all the Warren G fans. But honestly, it comes back to OKC now, either Denver or LA. That's going to be a great matchup to the Western Conference Finals and to the NBA Finals. Shout out to the New York Knicks and Karl Anthony Towns surviving Detroit. And you know, Detroit couldn't get a shot off after that cold cross that Jalen Brunson put on, that ghost screen. And we'll just wrap this up here. NHL, Jim, let's get your kind of wrap up here. What you're expecting to see the next week here in the NHL playoffs.
I mean, tonight's game between Dallas and Colorado is going to be amazing. This game should have been the finals of the Western Conference. It's stupid that the way the playoffs is. Minnesota, they had a chance to bring it to 7, but Vegas was just too good and overpowered them. And my goodness, the Winnipeg, they just cannot win on the road. Hellebuck, he needs to step up for Game 7.
Hella bad with their goalie. Yep. Hellebuck is his name.
Hellebuck, yeah. He needs to step up for Game 7. But other than that, it's been a fun playoffs to watch.
Absolutely. Okay. Any I guess anything else that you would say on I know Capitals, they're the number 1 seed. Do you expect them to continue to get closer to the cup, especially with Ovechkin just breaking the record, breaking the Great One's record? Do you feel like he could potentially retire? Again, we can start this conversation for the podcast. I know you talk about LeBron and Ovechkin comparison. We could talk about that. We could save that for another time. But do you believe if they get to a Stanley Cup, he will retire?
No, he has more years to go. And for them to get the cup, their goaltending needs to be better. They also played the worst team in the East who got in. I mean, all teams are good, but Montreal wasn't the best team. They're young. They don't have playoff experience. But who knows? They're playing against a really tough Carolina team, so that series should go 7.
Okay. Absolutely. So a lot of things to keep tabs on. Baseball just wrapped up first month of activity. My Chicago Cubs, 20 wins, beat the living crap out of the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday at 10-0. So yeah, we got a lot of things to get excited. Boston Red Sox, how are the Boston Red Sox doing? Let's talk about your team.
They're doing good. They beat the Twins last night, which is good.
You're gonna make
they're
a lot of
second
people
place
upset.
behind the Yankees. Oh,
So,
thank you.
but that's your team. They beat the Twins. What was the score?
I believe it was 4-2.
Okay, well done by the Red Sox. Okay, cool. But that's the sports scene that we have here in the 94 podcast. Definitely enjoyed having you in studio, Coach. And Jim, one day we'll get you in studio as well. But I know you're in studio in Green Bay holding it down for us. So we do appreciate you joining us today, this afternoon. And the Kentucky Derby, are you guys going to be watching? Oh, no.
No.
Probably not.
No.
I'll probably be
Okay.
sick at
But
work.
I found that there was a cool name. It's called journalism. One of the horses' names is called journalism. So I'm rooting for journalism. For your country fans, I think it's called Rendering Judgment is the horse for the late Toby Keith. So his wife owns that horse. So yeah, just a couple of notes here for the Kentucky.
Shout out journalism.
Shout out journalism, though. That's my horse that I'm picking. All right. Well, here in the 94 podcast, we do appreciate you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can also get this hoodie that I'm wearing on the web store. I'm going to share that with you too, Coach. So appreciate the support. Make sure all the Hopkins Royals are wearing this at all the games. And obviously, we can get some Hopkins gear as well. We'll talk with the actual team store to collaborate on that. But yeah, until the next time here in the 94 podcast, we do appreciate you guys listening and watching, and like and subscribe. We'll see you at the TOP, and we're out.